when the Turks came to India, they had their own taste, they had their own traditions, their own culture, and they were Islamic people, and they were required to offer namaz, and Muslims are expected to offer namaz 5 times a day, and they are also asked to offer namaz in congregation, in groups, and in queues. So they wanted to construct huge gateways to take entry at a particular time and to make exit on the same time. So they were required to construct huge gateways. And it was not possible to construct huge gateways, larger gateways, using lintel and beam method of architecture. And before the Turks, lintel and beam method means a flat roof and so many pillars. A hall based on, or any structure which is based on flat roof and so many pillars, is called lintel and beam method of architecture. So before the Turks, when Indian artisans, they started constructing their own buildings and structures, they used flat roof and based on pillars. But the Turks, they had their own requirements, and they wanted to construct huge huge gateways and also pillarless halls, huge gateways and pillarless halls. And it was not possible to construct huge gateways and pillarless halls using lintel and beam method of architecture. So they added another method in the art and architecture called arch and dome method, D-O-M-E, dome, arch and dome method, or gumbaj or mihrab, gumbaj and mihrab method of architecture. And with the help of arch and dome method of architecture, they started construction of gateways, large gateways and pillarless halls. And for the first time, construction of pillarless halls, construction of mihrabs, in fact, it was started, or it was introduced in India by the founder of the Delhi Sultanate named Kutubuddin Aibak. So Kutubuddin Aibak was the first sultan who started construction of arches, and when he got constructed 2 mosques, first one at Delhi and another one at Ajmer, called Kuwatul Islam Mosque and Dhai Din Ka Jhopda Mosque respectively. So he added so many arches or larger gateways. And construction of domes or gumbaj, it was for the first time started during the reign of another sultan of the Delhi Sultanate who belonged to the Khalji dynasty named Alauddin Khilji. So Alauddin Khilji was the first sultan who is credited to have constructed scientific domes, but he or his artisans, they did a mistake. While constructing a dome or gumbaj, they took a square basic plan, and base of a dome is circular, and a circle is not well fitted on a square basic plan. So when they constructed a dome on Alai Darwaja, that dome was so ugly and smaller in shape. While Lodi sultans, or the sultans who belong to Lodi dynasty, so they started construction of Lodis. See, so let's have a quick revision. So this one, development of domes, it was for the first time started by Alauddin Khilji, when he got constructed Alai Darwaja, and Alai Darwaja, this building, which is named Alai Darwaja, it served entry gateway to the Quwwatul Islam Mosque. And so using a square basic plan, it was not possible for the artisans to construct a huge dome. So that's why they built a smaller dome without having any neck or base. It's just fitted on the roof. ऐसे छत पे fit कर दिया गया. So that's why it's a bit smaller and not so beautiful or rather ugly dome. But even if this dome is not so smart and beautiful, this was the first scientific dome that was constructed in the history of India. So it has its own importance of being first scientific dome. And later on, Lodhis, L-O-D-H-I-S, Lodhi Sultans. So when the Lodhi Sultans, when they started construction of tomb, T-O-M-B, tomb. Tomb means makbara. So where a dead body is buried deep down into the soil, called makbara or mausoleum, also known as mausoleum or tomb. And Lodhi period is famous for construction of large number of tomb or mausoleum. And when the Lodhis, when they started construction of tomb, they were required to construct domes, gumbaj, and instead of taking a square or rectangular basic plan, they started construction of octagonal basic building, octagonal basic plan. And now when they took octagonal basic plan, it became easier for them to construct bigger domes and having neck. Bigger dome and having rounded dome though, and having a neck or a base. So same tomb and dome, light थोड़ा दिखाया गया है. And in course of time, when the Delhi Sultanate was replaced by the Mughals in the year 1526, Delhi Sultanate was replaced by a Mughal named Jahiruddin Muhammad Babur. Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire, and he was called Mughal because he was half Turk and half Mongol. So from father's side, he belonged to Tamerlane, Temurlang, one of the greatest warrior of his time. And from his mother side, he belonged to Chengiz Khan, another great, one of the greatest warrior of the ages. Chengiz Khan. It's not Chengiz Khan, it's Genghis Khan. He was a Mongoloid. Genghis, Z-E-N-G-E-I-S, Genghis, Q-A-A-N. So commonly known as Chengiz Khan. So Babur was half Turk and half Mongoloid, half Mongol. So that's why Babur, he came to be called the Mughal. And his empire he founded came to be known as the Mughal Empire. But very soon Babur died when he became the Sultan Badshah or the Emperor in 1526. In the 1530 he died, he passed away. He died of any kind of disease for which we are not aware of. And he was succeeded by his son Humayun, and Humayun ruled till 1556, but in two span of time, two phases. And in the 1556, when Humayun fell from the stairs of his library at Delhi, he was succeeded by his minor son Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. Hrithik Roshan of Jodha Akbar. Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. So Hrithik Roshan was interested, Akbar was interested in the sphere of art and architecture. And Akbar, or actually stepmother of Akbar and widow of Humayun, his father Humayun, named Haji Begum. She wanted to construct a tomb for her deceased husband Humayun. वो एक मकबरा बनवाना चाहती थी हुमायूं के लिए. अकबर की मदर दूसरी थी, हाजी बेगम दूसरी थी, स्टेप मदर थी उसके. So she wanted to construct a tomb, T-O-M-B, tomb or मकबरा or mausoleum. And she asked for that, and Akbar was ready for that. It's okay. So when you want to construct a tomb for my father and your husband, so it's quite a fine thing. So he passed an order to construct a tomb for Humayun. And on the orders of Akbar, a tomb was constructed for his father Humayun at Delhi. And this tomb is made up of red sandstone and white marble. Red sandstone, a combination of red sandstone and a white marble. It's a larger mausoleum, or it's a larger maqbara. And the Mughal artisans, when they got constructed a tomb on the tomb, upper part of the tomb, called dome or gumbaj, they got constructed a rounded dome with a base or neck, but it's a rounded, massive but rounded dome, and it's totally made up of white marble. But building is a combination of red sandstone and white marble, beautifully fitted red sandstone and white marble. And later on, when Shahjahan, so Akbar died in the 1605. He was succeeded by his son Jahangir, but Jahangir died in 1627 or 28, and he was succeeded by his son Shah-e-Jahan. Shah means the emperor. I-A, preposition, emperor of Jahan, this world, emperor of the world. Though he was the emperor of Hindustan, but he took this title of Shah-e-Jahan, Shahjahan. So Shahjahan's period, Shahjahan's reign is called the golden period in the sphere of art and architecture. And when Shahjahan, when he ordered construction of a tomb for his wife, deceased wife, Mumtaz Mahal, but at Agra, and when the Mughal artisans, when they got constructed a tomb which is better known as tomb of Mumtaz Mahal, Mumtaz Mahal ka maqbara, better known as Taj Mahal, because Mumtaz Mahal, her name was Arjumand Bano Begum, Arju, wish, Arjuman, and she was very beautiful. It is said that she was very beautiful. And these are not my words, according to contemporary historian. So she was very beautiful, and Shahjahan had 14 children with that relationship, and finally she died. वो 14th जो बेबी हो रहा था ना, उस टाइम पे उसकी डेथ हो गई. So when she passed away, Shahjahan ordered construction of a tomb, so Arjuman Bano Begum, but Shahjahan conferred upon her a title. Shahjahan conferred upon her a title of Mumtaz Mahal. Mumtaz Mahal. Mahal means the palace. Mumtaz means crown. Crown of the palace. She was conferred a title. तो उसका नाम नहीं था, उसका टाइटल था, and she was Arjumand Bano Begum. So when this mausoleum was built for Arjumand Bano Begum, better known as the Taj, Shahjahan got constructed a massive dome, but much against the dome of Humayun's tomb, which is rounded in shape. This particular dome is not a rounded one. This dome is a bulbous dome, or onion shaped or guava shaped dome, and one of the most beautiful and one of the most scientific and symmetrical double dome. Double dome, even that dome of Humayun's tomb is also a rounded double dome. That is rounded double dome. This one. It's a rounded double dome having an inner dome and taking support from inner dome. Main outer dome was constructed. And when Shahjahan got constructed this dome, so even this dome is a double dome, having inside having an inner dome and taking support from inner dome, and outer dome was constructed. So it's a double dome, but it's not a rounded double dome. It's bulbous or onion shape or guava, also known as guava shaped dome. So we could find a gradual development gradual development of the domes right from the days of Alauddin Khilji, when he got constructed so ugly dome, and this is the most beautiful dome of the world. So there is a gradual development. So this style of architecture, this pattern of architecture is called arch and dome method of architecture. So constructing mihrabs and domes, and mihrabs were for the first time constructed by or on the orders of Qutbuddin Aibak, and say this arch. And these arches, now in ruined structure, not in very good condition, these arches were constructed on the orders of the founder of the Delhi Sultanate, Qutbuddin Aibak. And these arches or these mihrabs were constructed for Quwwatul Islam mosque as the entry gateways. भाई मुसलमानों को एक साथ नमाज पढ़ना है, एकदम भीड़ हो जाएगी अंदर घुसेंगे तो, फिर इकट्ठे बाहर निकलेंगे फिर भीड़ होएगी. So to avoid overcrowding, to avoid rush, that's why they wanted to construct larger gateways. And Qutbuddin Aibak got constructed these arches, and later on when he got constructed another mosque at Ajmer, and even for that mosque he also added some more arches called Dhai Din Ka Jhopda mosque. And later on, and this pattern of constructing mihrab was continued even up to the reign of Jahangir, the Mughal Emperor Jahangir, right from the days of Qutbuddin Aibak till the reign of Jahangir. But when Shah Jahan became the emperor, he was not interested in constructing simple arches. So these arches are so simple, not so beautiful actually. And when Shah Jahan became the emperor, Shah Jahan started construction of, instead of constructing simple arches, Shah Jahan started construction of foliated, this one, foliated arches. And construction of foliated arches and construction of bulbous double domes, these two patterns were added by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan and also followed by the sultans and rulers and the kings of other provincial dynasties as well. And even in the Sikh architecture, you could easily observe these two things. For so many gurudwaras, so even if you pay a visit to a gurudwara belonging to 18th or 19th century common era, Gurudwaras, domes of Gurudwara में भी गुंबज बनता है ना, so following same pattern, having a base and a bulbous double dome. And mihrabs, not very popular among the Sikhs still. So arches and mihrabs and minarets was another Islamic conception, but construction of minarets or minaras, it was not entirely a new or innovation of the Muslims. And even right from the days of ancient Roman Empire, the Roman people were already aware of construction of huge domes and arches. So construction of domes and arches, these two elements were not entirely new, but adopted extensively by the Muslim rulers and Muslim artisans. So the Muslims, they learnt this art of construction of arches and domes from the Romans. And they learnt this construction of minarets from the Greeks. So for the first time in this world, minarets were constructed by the Greeks as the watch towers. निगरानी करने के लिए किलों का watch towers. So, but the Muslims, they took that pattern of construction of minarets from the Greeks and from the Romans, and they started construction of minarets along with the mosques for the muezzins to call faithful to offer namaz in the mosque. So minarets were constructed. और उस पे चढ़ के वो मुअज्जिन जो होता है ना, वो अजान देता है, वो बोलता है ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह लाइक दैट एंड दिस, तो बोलता है अल्लाह इज द ग्रेटेस्ट, अल्लाह इज द वन एंड नन अदर देन अल्लाह इज द greatest and is most merciful and benevolent. Come from the east, come from the west, come from all the direction. This is the time to offer namaz in the mosque. So first minaret that was constructed in India was Kutub Minar. And Kutub Minar was constructed purely on Iranian pattern. Kutub Minar, when Kutub Minar was constructed, it was constructed purely on Iranian pattern. So the Turks, they also brought along with themselves the Iranian or Persian style of art and architecture. And this minaret, this construction of this minaret is purely Iranian. And its construction was started in the year 1199 when Aibak was not the Sultan and he was merely the governor or commander of Muhammad Ghori the Turk. But in the year 1206, Qutbuddin Aibak became the Sultan of the Delhi Sultanate, founder of the Delhi Sultanate. And and this construction of this tower was already in progress right from 1199 Common Era. And this minaret, when he started construction of this minaret, he in the 1210 he passed away. He died from the back of his horse while he was busy in playing chaugan or polo, and that stick, जो जिससे गोल करते हैं ना छड़ी स्टिक, वो उसके पेट में घुस गया, पेटी फट गया, उसका on the spot death हो गई थी. Aibak died on the spot, couldn't survive that accident, and he died. But when he died, just first story of this tower was completed, and artisans of Aibak, they followed a basic pattern. While first story was totally made up of red sandstone, and a pattern is to be observed. See there, semicircle for first story, semicircle followed by spur, S-P-U-R. Spur matlab nikla hua. Semicircle, spur, and again semicircle, spur, and a balcony was also added. A balcony was also added, and this balcony, this pattern of constructing these kind of balconies said to be stalactite honeycomb technique. लटकता हुआ मधुमक्खी के छत्ते के जैसा. Stalactite, hanging, seems to be hanging. Stalactite, honeycomb, देखिए ना उसमें बना हुआ ऐसे कॉम जैसा. Cells, very small cells, large number of smaller cells. It's called stalactite honeycomb technique. And when then Aibak passed away, and for the time being, for the next 7 or 8 months, Aibak was succeeded by his own son, Aram Shah. But his sultanship was challenged by his own brother-in-law, Jijaji, Shamsuddin Iltutmish. So Shamsuddin Iltutmish killed his Salaji, Aram Shah, and he became the Sultan. And he passed an order for the completion of this tower. And when this tower was finally completed during the reign of Sultan Shamsuddin Iltutmish, this was a 4-storied tower and totally 100% made up of red sandstone. And to decorate this tower minaret, they used a pattern of decoration called arabesque, A-R-A-B-E-S-Q-U-E, arabesque. Arabesque is a style of writing, engraving sacred lines of Quran on the stone or panels, walls, ये सब पे, है ना? तो ये कुरान की आयतें हैं. आयत means sacred lines from the holy textbook of the Muslims, Quran. This pattern of decoration is called arabesque, A-R-A-B-E-S-Q-U-E, arabesque. And when the same style of writing is written on a paper or any other thing, not on the stone or walls or roofs and any other thing, that pattern of architecture is स्याही से लिखें, सजा के लिखें, that style is called calligraphy. जैसे कल मैंने लिखा था ना अपना नाम, C-A-L-L-I, Calli, G-R-A-P-H-Y, calligraphy, सुलेखन, अच्छा स्टाइल बना के लिखना, सुलेखन, है ना? So, but right now, this tower, originally this was a 4-story tower. Right now this is 5-story tower. And instead of having red sandstone, 4th and 5th stories are equipped with the white marble. So something went wrong after Sultan Shamsuddin Iltutmish. And during the reign of Sultan Firoz Shah Tughlaq, during the reign of Sultan Firoz Shah Tughlaq, the Sultan who belonged to Tughlaq dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate, and he ruled from 1351 till 1386. And during his reign, original fourth story, totally made up of red sandstone, original fourth story was destroyed. It was destroyed in a lightning. And Firoz Shah Tughlaq, he was so stupid that instead of repairing the fourth story, original fourth story, he got constructed fourth one and fifth one. But he failed to observe basic pattern of the minaret. And instead of following basic pattern, semicircle spur for second story, all semicircle, for third story, all spur or triangle, he got constructed rounded stories. And instead of using red sandstone, he used white marble. So this minaret is a beautiful minaret, but only up to the third story, and fourth and fifth story are not very beautiful because they fail to follow its basic pattern of architecture. And later on, after Kutub Minar, several other minarets were also constructed. See, minarets were also constructed to decorate the buildings, not only for the muezzins to call faithful to offer namaz, sirf azan dene ke liye nahi. Also, minarets were also constructed to decorate the buildings. And Taj Mahal, see, Taj Mahal is a massive structure. So this one, Taj Mahal is a massive structure, and it has octagonal main building. Octagonal main building and a huge bulbous double dome. And this octagonal main building is constructed on a raised platform, and platform is a very extended one. And for the time being, in your imagination, so just remove all the four minarets, and its beauty is immediately perished, finished. खत्म हो जाएगा, इसका पूरी खूबसूरती खत्म हो जाएगी अगर आप चारों मिनरेट्स चारों कोनों से हटा दें. These four minarets are constructed to establish connectivity. To establish connectivity with the platform, an extended platform, and octagonal main building. And that's why this structure appears to be so beautiful. And this mausoleum, this tomb, is also very beautiful, not because of his bulbous double dome, but also because of construction of beautiful minarets or towers. But these towers or minarets are constructed for decorative purposes, to link the extended platform with that of octagonal main building. And that's why minarets were constructed. See this much closer view of upper part of upper portion of this tower or minaret. So beautiful, and it's very well decorated. So having balcony, ऊपर है ना कैसा balcony, गोल गोल balcony बना हुआ है, and just see the base, and it's decorated with Pietra dura. And what is Pietra dura? It's inlay work, fitting, cutting and fitting, like cutting and fitting floral designs, geometrical designs. And we have this Chand Minar from Daulatabad, not so beautiful, and it's of pre-Mughal origin, constructed much before the Mughals. Chand Minar, and a very mysterious minaret, a very mysterious minaret, minarets of shaking minarets of Ahmedabad. And yesterday I told you people about the unique feature of this these two minarets. And while these minarets are called shaking minarets of Ahmedabad. While one minaret is shaken, other starts vibrating. एक हिलाएंगे ना तो दूसरा अपने आप हिलेगा. While connecting passage between the two remains vibration free. And what causes this vibration is still unknown, and it has been one of the greatest mysteries of the world history. Not only history of India, but of world history. And several architects, engineers, IITians, and they are indulged several times to find out the real cause of this shaking minarets, but they fail to do so. They are not able to find out that when one minaret is shaken, another starts vibrating, while connecting passage remains vibration free. So, domes, arches, and minarets. Dome, arches, and minarets. And also, Muslims were not, they were not allowed to construct the idols or the images, because idol worship is prohibited in Islam, and they were required to develop their own pattern of decorating their buildings. And that's why they developed their own pattern of architecture. It's called arabesque. Arabesque means borrowing sacred lines from the Holy Quran and engravings on the stone panels, doorways, stone panels, उस पे अच्छा से सजा के तराश करके बनाना. And this particular style is what we known as Pietra dura, inlay work and cutting and fitting, and also decorating with precious and semi-precious stones like ruby, diamond, sapphire, and it's very, very costly work. Pietra called Pietra dura. And apart from Pietra dura, or along with Pietra dura work, they also started construction of jalis or jali work. And Taj Mahal, for the Taj, Shahjahan extensively used Pietra dura and jali work, extensively on large scale. And see this pattern. So frontal portion of the Taj, octagonal main building, arch. So see that black color style of writing is arabesque and calligraphy. Arabesque, mainly arabesque. And there you can also observe some floral painting like structures, but in fact that's not what we know as painting. Inlay work, Pietra dura work. And see much closer view of Pietra dura. So stones कट किए गए हैं, फिर अंदर का स्टोन कट किया गया, फिर फिट कर दिया गया. इतना शानदार फिटिंग, बाल भी नहीं डाल सकते हैं उसमें, इतनी शानदार कटिंग है. तो एक झटके से लगता है कि पेंटिंग होगा. बहुत सारे लोग ताजमहल घूमने जाते हैं, पेंटिंग समझ के खुश होकर वापस आ जाते हैं. And then because they are not aware of Pietra dura work. And beautifully engraved or sculptured jalis. So Pietra dura, calligraphy, arabesque, and jali works, these were the patterns of decorating their buildings. And Shahjahan extensively, not only Shahjahan, but his predecessor emperor Jahangir also made extensive use of Pietra dura. And when Jahangir, he got constructed a tomb for his father-in-law. So he had a wife, a very beautiful wife of Iranian origin named, अरे जानते हैं आप लोग, शर्मा कह रहे हैं, Noor-Jahan. Noor means light, Jahan means world, light of the world. and she was Mehrun Nisa. Mehrun Nisa. And she was married. She was already married to a person of Afghan origin named Sher Afghan. So Sher Afghan. And one day, Jahangir saw her in a market, Meena Bajar. And she was so beautiful. And Jahangir felt attracted towards her. And he took Sher Afghan, husband of Mehrun Nisa, in his service, and he was sent to Sher Afghan was sent by Jahangir to Bengal for an expedition, and from there he never returned back. And she became a widow, and finally Jahangir, she was married to Jahangir. And Jahangir conferred upon her a title of Nur Jahan, light of the universe, light of the world. And she was of Iranian origin. And uska jo Nur Jahan ka father tha, Itmad-ud-Daulah. Itmad-ud-Daulah. And Itmad-ud-Daulah, father of Nur Jahan, he was appointed for any higher post or higher authority. And when Itmad-ud-Daulah, now father-in-law of Jahangir, when Itmad-ud-Daulah passed away, and Jahangir is ordered construction of a tomb, Maqbara, at Agra for his father-in-law Itmad-ud-Daulah, and called Tomb of Itmad-ud-Daulah. And Tomb of Itmad-ud-Daulah is the first Mughal structure that is 100% completely made up of white marble. Not only Taj Mahal, but before the construction of Taj Mahal, Jahangir already got constructed a tomb for his father-in-law Itmad-ud-Daulah, completely made up of white marble, and Jahangir made extensive use of Pietra dura to decorate the tomb of his father-in-law. And later on, Shahjahan also started extensive use of Pietra dura, jali work, calligraphy, and arabesque. So they had there, the Turks and the Mughals, Islamic people, they had their own pattern of architecture. But apart from using their own pattern of architecture, they also took several local elements from Gujarat and Rajasthan, like Chhatris from Gujarat and Rajasthan. So there, after the synthesis of Islamic architecture and local pattern of architecture, there emerged a new pattern of art and architecture. That is what we know as Indo Islamic art and architecture. Indo Islamic art and architecture. And apart from construction of domes and arches and minarets and having their own pattern of architecture, they also started constructing several forts, massive forts of stone. And forts were also constructed during the reign of the sultans of the Delhi Sultanate. And even they got several forts, but not as massive and stronger and larger as that of the Mughals. So there was a sultan who belonged to the Tughlaq dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate, named Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, founder of Tughlaq dynasty. And Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he ruled from 1320 till 1325, and he ordered construction of a fort, and that fort is now a ruined fort called Old Fort Complex at Delhi. Old Fort Complex, Purana Kila Parisar, Old Fort Complex, Delhi. And Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, when he started construction of a fort for himself as his residential palace and also for strategic purposes, he introduced construction of slopy walls, broader at base and getting narrower and narrower at the top. And Tughlaq rulers like Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq made extensive use of brown sandstone to construct their structures or the forts. brown sandstone. And it's very, very difficult to engrave brown sandstone, being much harder. And it's very, very difficult to make decorations in the brown sandstone. And that's why instead of brown sandstone, the Mughals started using red sandstone. Red sandstone bit softer than in comparison to the brown sandstones, and it became easier for the Mughal artisans to decorate their buildings and structures and forts. And that's why when Akbar ordered construction, when he became the emperor in 1556, he ordered construction of a fort for himself, like for his residential purposes and for strategic purposes as well. A fort was constructed on the order of Akbar at Agra, located in the close proximity with the Rajputana rulers. And Agra fort is a massive fort which is made up of red sandstone. So Akbar started using red sandstone on large scale. Say this one. This is the entry gateway to the old fort complex, Purana Kila Parisar, constructed on the orders of Ghayasuddin Tughlaq. And Ghayasuddin Tughlaq made extensive use of brown sandstone, and he started construction of slopy walls called salami thoda jhuk ke, slopy walls. So like pyramidal, also known as pyramidal, not exactly pyramid like, but still pyramidal, broader at base and narrower at the top. And he made extensive use of brown sandstone, and that's why Tughlaq structures are not very decorative. Tughlaq structures are not so decorative. So very less amount of decoration we could observe in the structures of the Tughlaq rulers. See? So ruined fort, and this fort was constructed by Akbar on the orders of Akbar, located at Agra, and its construction was started in the year 1556 when he became the emperor. When Akbar became the emperor, and this fort served residential palace, and also occupied a very strategic location, because this fort is located at the close proximity of Rajputana areas. And in the beginning, Akbar was not acceptable to the Rajput rulers, and the Rajput rulers posed continuous threat to the reign of Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. So that's why he got constructed a very massive and a very strong fort, mainly made up of red sandstone, called Red Fort Agra. And Red Fort Agra is famous for so many buildings. And this particular structure, and Agra fort was constructed out of red sandstone. So this structure called Diwan-i-Am or Diwan-i-Am, where Akbar heard cases, or he received petitions of the commoners, and how this building is made up of white marble. Originally this structure was of red sandstone, but later on during the reign of Shahjahan, he removed red sandstone, and instead of red sandstone, Shahjahan added white marble. So this structure is called Diwan-i-Am or Diwan-i-Am. And another structure located in the Red Fort complex Agra called Diwan-i-Khas, where Akbar received state guests, diplomats, and had his cabinet meetings. Diwan-i-Khas, na khas logon ke liye. Diwan-i-Am for the commoners. So Diwan-i-Am, Diwan-i-Khas, and so many other structures like Sheesh Mahal, Diwan-i-Am, Diwan-i-Khas, and Khas Mahal, Mina Masjid, Nagina Masjid, Musamman Burj, and other structures. And this is the largest, one of the largest fort in India and in the world as well. And this entire Red Fort complex located at Delhi, it was known as, during the reign of Shah Jahan, this structure, entire complex was called Shahjahanabad. And Shah Jahan shifted his capital from Agra to Delhi. And before the reign of Shah Jahan, Agra served capital city for the Mughals. So up to the reign of Jahangir, Agra remained the capital of the Mughals. But Shah Jahan was not interested in Agra, and he was not much delighted there. So finally he decided to shift his capital from Agra to Delhi, and he ordered construction of a huge residential complex called Red Fort Complex, Delhi, called Shahjahanabad. And not very far from this Red Fort Complex, Shah Jahan ordered construction of a huge mosque, and that mosque is the largest mosque of India, called Masjid-e Jahanuma. Masjid-e Jahanuma, popularly known as Jama Masjid. Jama Masjid of Delhi. Jama means chief. Mosque, masjid. So chief mosque of any city is called Jama Masjid. Even there is a Jama Masjid of Banaras, Jama Masjid of Agra, Jama Masjid of Aligarh, Jama Masjid of this and that city. So Jama Masjid of Delhi, it was originally known as Masjid-e Jahanuma, and very large mosque, and has an extended courtyard which can easily accommodate 25,000 namazis at a time to offer namaz. So Shahjahanabad, and it's a very extended fort, and this structure located in the Red Fort complex, Shahjahanabad, this structure is called Diwan-i-Am or Diwan-i-Am, commonly known as Diwan-i-Am. And this is a hall. This is a mere hall, and it's a larger hall, and it's totally based on pillars and foliated arches. And Shah Jahan made extensive use of foliated arches. And apart from Diwan-i-Am, and Diwan-i-Am is totally made of red sandstone, and nearby this structure Diwan-i-Am, Shah Jahan also constructed Diwan-i-Khas, and see. And at this hall, or in this hall, Shah Jahan also placed a crown, है ना, सिंहासन लगाया, and which is made up of white marble. And this structure is completely made up of white marble, located besides that Diwan-i-Am उसी के पास में है, and it's totally made up of white marble. And it was originally, it was a very beautiful building, very beautiful hall. It was Diwan-i-Khas of the Emperor Shahjahan, a very powerful emperor, once a very powerful emperor. And it was a very decorative hall. Now it's not so attractive, and if you produce computer graphic image of this hall, so while Shah Jahan received state guests or he had held cabinet meetings, it appeared like this. Very beautiful hall. And this hall is also full of Pietra dura, and it Shah Jahan, to decorate the ceiling, Shah Jahan used gold and silver. So its ceiling was full of gold and silver, but it was looted during the late Mughal period by some people, and remaining gold and silver were plundered and looted by the Britishers. And it was restored. Later on it was restored. And it was here that Shah Jahan placed a very costly throne called peacock throne or Mayur Singhasan. And during the time of later Mughals, when Mughal empire started declining, and during the reign of Muhammad Shah, later Mughal ruler, when the Afghan ruler invaded India, invaded the Mughal empire, and also invaded Delhi city, he had plundered that Singhasan called Mayur Singhasan, peacock throne. And in those days, peacock throne was worth more than 4 crore rupiah, silver coins. It was so costly, and it was full of gold and silver and diamond, ruby and sapphire. Peacock throne. So Shah Jahan got constructed so many structures, so many buildings, Diwan-i-Am, Diwan-i-Khas, and also, see, one more thing. It was here for Diwan-i-Khas, full of Pietra dura, Mayur Singhasan, then Pietra dura, and so many other things. And it was here on the panels that Shah Jahan engraved Persian lines to praise this building. Originally, those 2 Persian lines were composed by the Persian poet Amir Khusro, also a disciple of Nizamuddin-Aulia, and his tomb is located in Delhi. Nizamuddin-Aulia wale complex mein unka tomb bhi hai. So 13th century Persian poet Amir Khusro, he was proud to be an Indian, Hindustani, and he called himself Parrot of India, and he took delight in speaking Hindi rather than Persian or Arabic. And he was the first poet who started using Hindi words in the Persian poetry, Persian poem. And he called, while praising his motherland Hindustan, he said, for Hindustan, his motherland, he said, Gar Firdaus, if paradise, Bar Ruwe, face to face, if paradise persist, Gar Firdaus Bar Ruwe, Jamiast, if paradise persist on this earth, it is this, none but Hindustan, none but this, for India, for Hindustan, his motherland.